Good morning, Higher Hope.
Hey, good morning. It is Wednesday, June 3rd, and I'm just walking through Genesis. If you don't know me or you do know me, you know that I love this book. I love the first three chapters because it explains so much and has so much depth to it. And I think I've spent the last week on Genesis 1:1. Genesis 1:1 is the foundation of really all of Scripture. It lays the groundwork for what God is going to do the rest of the time and what He has done. And again, Genesis 1:1 is under attack. And so if people can take out Genesis 1:1, they can take out really how do we trust the whole thing if you can't even trust the first verse? And so Genesis 1:1 says, "In the beginning," again, before time began, Elohim, God, created, put together the heavens, the spiritual realm, and the things up in the sky. And the phrase I want to talk about today is the earth. And this phrase, this word, Hebrew word, is used over 2,500 times in Scripture, and it refers to what it says: the earth, the what we see, the land, the physical, and it's really all of the earth, everything that we see, everything that we can touch, everything we can taste, the colors and the diversity of animals and all over creation is that the physical side. So we got the spiritual side with the heavens and the skies, and we have the physical side, which is the land and the animals and the vegetation. And he said, and there's a lot of things why this is important. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth because, especially in those times, what I understand is the maker of something is also the owner of something. And so you have authority. You own it. It's yours. It's in fact, we reread later. I think it's in Psalms that the heaven or the earth belongs to God. Like they're His. In fact, John says through Jesus, through the Word, all things were created. There's nothing that was created that hasn't been created. And then because of that, it's His. He owns it. He can do what He wants with it. And so this land was created by God, and He created it perfectly. And again, we get back into sin, and we'll get maybe later into that how sin breaks down humans, us, what He created, that were created in His image, but it breaks down us. But it also, according to Scripture, sin plays out in our creation in the physical world. Although the physical world doesn't sin, only humans, us, can sin. That our sin has invaded, the virus has taken over our world, and you can see it spinning, and then you can see the storms, the hurricanes, tornadoes, all crying out when there's famine, when there's no rain, all crying out for the restoration. In fact, Romans 8 says that all of creation is yearning for the sons of God to be real. Like there's a yearning in them for things to be brought back together, like for that land to be healed. In fact, that's a phrase that sometimes they use, the land to be healed, because it's broken. And so we see not only this theme in Genesis 1:1, but we see this theme of the land throughout all of Scripture. This theme will come up over and over again, because even to the nation of Israel, you'll hear this picture of the promise being a land, same word, flowing with milk and honey. That He has a land with parameters, with boundaries for them, that will be sweet, and it'll be a place of rest, and it's a place of goodness. And so they live in that for a while, and then they rebel against Him, and they lose the land, and they're taken into exile. And that land is very symbolic of where they're supposed to be, and not just physically, but also spiritually. And then we see Revelation, a restoration of the land, with a new heaven and new earth, and we see the beauty of the place. You see the physicality of where we're going to be in Revelation, what God has created for us. And we see the restoration of the land and a new beginning. And so from Revelation 1:1, we see in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. And we see in Revelation this whole God recreating the heavens and earth for us, that we can live in this physical place that's going to restore its beauty to it. And so this land concept is huge. And then there's another phrase that says, seek the peace of the land, of the land. Not just, again, land that goes beyond just physical of this, but also the people and the around us. And so and then there's other parts of it that say, we were put here to lead or create in the land. Like we are stewards of the place that God created. He is the owner, and we work with Him to create beauty here. And so we are a steward of this land. And so we are environmentalists as followers of Jesus Christ. We want to care for it. We want to create beauty. We want to respect what God has created because it's His. And so we don't want to waste it or destroy it by being, whatever, throwing trash out the window, or we want to be restorers of the land and bringers of peace to the land, and that phrase "land" will just come up again. I said 2,500 times, and it's just going to be a theme that I hope that we can pay attention to as you look at Scripture and look for those places. Look for how the Psalms talks about the lands, and this theology of place, of holiness, and of God's creation, God's ownership, and the place that we live.